Okay, we'll move on if we can. Next item I had under the superintendent's report is there's been some confusion take place, and I want to make sure that we make some clarification to that. And again, Mr. Louise, he's here tonight, so maybe can help me a little bit with this if I don't sum it up the best I can. Clarification as to the complaint managers for our district. When we have complaints that come forward to our district, we do have a policy in place that states who those complaint managers are, but there are also times that we can seek our legal counsel to take the place of those assigned, correct?
Correct.
At our asset, basically.
I mean, this is more just to make sure that, I mean, unless the majority of you understood it somewhat differently. I think it was about last year at this time.
September 22nd.
When was it?
2016.
I can't remember. It was sometime last year. The board had asked me to step in and act as a complaint manager on a certain complaint that was filed because of the nature of the complaint that involved a board member. And you could probably understand in a situation where there's a board member involved, you don't typically have an employee investigate a board member. So I was asked, and I think it was at a public meeting, that I be appointed to investigate that matter, which was resolved. But there was no intent, my understanding that night, to make your legal counsel your complaint manager for all of your policies that require a complaint manager. So your sexual harassment policy, your bullying policy, your uniform grievance policy, you have a bunch of policies that designate employees as complaint managers, usually a male and a female, right? So in case, right? So unless you guys understood that otherwise, my understanding is that our firm and attorneys were only appointed at one time. At that time, there's been other times I think we've become involved, but it was not an action to revise your board policy to make us the standing permanent complaint manager. So that was it, just to clarify that. If someone had an interest in doing that, it would probably be done through your normal board policy revision procedure.
Before you move on, I'll read you something. It'll take me a minute to find it. I didn't realize this was coming up right now.
Always looking for that too. You can see the screen tonight. Instead of spending an immense amount of time going over the positive news and communication that our administrators have provided, I thought I would have it on the screen tonight that you can occasionally look up there if you're bored at what we're doing or you need a break, and you can take a look at that. And we also have copies over on the stand as you would leave the door if you want a copy of that.
I think I know what you're looking for, which is the motion and the approval. Again, I didn't write the motion or their approval, but that was not the intent of that night. So you can go ahead and read it. But
well, we can listen to the closed session minutes and find out what the intent was. But there was a motion by Holly Farley, seconded by Mandy Reeman. This is September 22nd, 2016. Motion by Holly Farley, seconded by Mandy Reeman, to allow the school district's attorney to serve as a complaint manager for policy 2:260 in the Jasper County Community Unit District Number 1 School Board Policy Manual. Ayes, Reeman, Millsap, Fulton, Farley, Stanley, Ernest. Nays, none. Motion carried. And if you'll recall, that is what I refer to as the lynch mob meeting that took place out at the high school. And for some reason, these two guys called in, the attorneys of Robin Schwartz and Dennis Weedman sat in on this.
oh, so this wasn't even when this is a whole different
No,
complaint
it was before you ever came.
Okay.
And I think with our discussion previously,
because the one time
you said it was for one particular complaint, and so did Andy. There was no complaint ever filed.
Okay.
There was no complaint filed prior to that meeting on September 22nd. Am I correct?
I'm not sure. I would have to look back at notes and stuff. I didn't know we were going to talk about this tonight.
Well, you put it on the agenda.
I put it on the agenda for clarification of our attorney's purpose in a complaint.
Well, you put it on the agenda, remember, Ernest, because you raised it.
Well,
you raised it with our law firm, and for you to say today you didn't know it was coming up tonight is disingenuous, because I know you talked to my partner Tina Christophilus last night, and you told her that this was coming up tonight.
Yes, I knew it was coming up. I said I didn't know it was coming up right at that time.
In revising its board policy to make our firm the all-time complaint manager. And we're not going to take action on this tonight. If there was a misunderstanding, then we'll revoke, on the next board meeting, we'll remove that vote or rescind it. We weren't counsel at that time, so.
Yes, you were counsel.
Well, I'm not Dennis.
I mean, we hired you in June of 2015.
Okay.
Is when we hired
were we the counsel?
Hodge, Louisi, Eisenheimer.
Were we
like I say, for some reason, these two guys pulled in Robin Schwartz, another law firm.
Okay.
You know, it had nothing to do with Jed Ernest. It had nothing to do with Bill Flowers for you not to be there.
Okay. Are you asking the board to have our law firm be the complaint manager on all complaints in the district? Is that what you want our?
I am asking the board to go by the policy that we voted on. Okay. You know, for whatever that policy. Wow. You know, I believe we took an oath to change it in an ethical manner.
Okay.
And we've done that when we voted on it. Now, am I not correct?
I wasn't at that meeting.
No, am I not correct in the fact that it's an ethical manner to do it by a motion?
If the action was clear and everyone understood what they're voting for, it sounds like there's miscommunication, which is why we're talking about it tonight, to clear it up. So if you guys keep raising this issue, going around and around, at the next board meeting, we'll bring in action so that we can all go through this for board member Ernest to clarify what the board policy is. So sounds like he's confused about it, so we'll clear it up at the next board meeting. We can't do it today because we don't have an action item on the agenda. So this
well, even if you step a little bit farther in the in my conversation with Tina of your law firm, Craig Carr is listed as complaint manager in our policy, in our board policy. Craig Carr hadn't been here for what, 2 years? Okay. This is the second year.
Well,
so you know, why isn't it updated?
How long have you known that?
It was brought to my attention yesterday.
Okay, well,
I mean, but I've known for a long time that if you read the policy manual, you're not listed, and this clears that.
Don't understand the last point, but unless anyone else has got anything to talk about on this matter, we'll bring it back next month. There's no action required. Okay.
I'm satisfied with that.
Next item I have is the Wabash Valley Dinner Meeting. It's February 27th for the ISB, I'm sorry. It's in Effingham. We need to kind of know who's planning to attend that so we can get registration taken care of. And if you need transportation stuff, we can do that too. Anybody else? John? It's the 27th.
This coming Tuesday, but
Right,
the
next Tuesday. Okay, and then the last thing I had was I kind of want to put a shout out, and I don't know if Melissa wants to speak on behalf of this. She can. Again, we told you at the last meeting we've taken on the CSCI, basically a culture climate survey. I thought it would be beneficial to give out some numbers tonight, and those numbers are basically, our numbers are very high on the staff taking it so far. Of course, we can control that, and the students can control that part. What we don't control is the parents, and we need lots of help on the parent side. Right now, we are at 54% at the high school, 22% at the junior high, and Newton Elementary is 34%. Well, what I can tell you is, and Melissa and I talked about this the other day, if somebody can give us an idea of how to reach some of those people that are not getting reached. Maybe they don't have computer access at their home. We'll go to the home, we'll bring a hotspot, we'll bring a computer, we'll sit down and let them take it. We will go to that extent to get this information because we feel like that's the biggest portion of what we're doing right now is we've got to have that data to try to figure out where the gaps are and where the things are that we need to help make ourselves better for what we do for kids. So anything else you want to add to that?
Just our school community is doing a fantastic job of getting things done. They're really putting the word out there. We're trying to open up new ideas on how to, like you said, get it further. We're offering, you can come to the school, we'll give you a Chromebooks that they're going to take it. We have room and time to do that. So we're really pushing for any and everyone to take this. So if there's anybody here who hasn't, please do it. But yeah, that's where we are. So
I'd like to see us hit 100%. I know that's probably not feasible. We've got people that have got other goals that I don't want to give you because I want to see us pass those. But we do think it's important. It's an opportunity to have a voice. It's an opportunity to tell us how we can get better for your children and moving forward. So thank you, Melissa. I did ask her to ramrod this whole process so that one person's really got the go-to, and she's doing an amazing job for us. So thank you for doing that.
Did it?
Yep.
All right. Next is letter 4. We're item number 4 to our guests and public comments, the recognition of those folks tonight. Right now I have 2 folks signed up to speak for 5 minutes, John Kraft and Gib Woods. So before we start with, is there anyone that's wanting to speak for the 2-minute time slot? Mr. Allen?
Yes, sir. Could you tell me what qualifies for an extension on your unusual circumstances?
On the unusual circumstances.
Yeah, on
To
your,
be able to speak longer.
yeah, it says usual circumstance. Usually it's 2 minutes unless there's an unusual circumstance.
Actually, if you want to address that when you speak, you're welcome to do so. Is there anyone else that wants to speak for 2 minutes?
Hi, Dave.
All right, Susan? Anyone else? Okay, so we have 2 folks for 5 minutes, and we have 2 folks for 2 minutes. Who would like to go first? Mr. Kraft?
I can go first. The first thing, I haven't read your policy on board member usage of email account. Once again, I would like to reiterate what I said at the last meeting. I don't believe that you can force a board member to use a school email account for any reason. I'm going to recommend it. I don't think you can force it. Next, I want to talk about the Freedom of Information Act. I filed several FOIA requests, and one of them was for a copy of bank account numbers used by the school. That was denied partially, claiming several exemptions that basically don't apply. 718 of the FOIA claimed the Gramm-Leach-Beasley Act, Personal Information Protection Act, and the Banking Act. None of those apply to the school district. Public bodies, bank account numbers. You claim private information. It's not private, it belongs to the public. Claim that disclosure of bank numbers, even of a public agency, would be highly objectionable. It's not objectionable. How am I supposed to know when I receive credit card statements or checks written, if you have more than one account, all under the same name, how am I supposed to know which account they're actually written on, or which credit card number is actually being used? And then you claimed trade secrets, valuable formulae. None of that applies. Once again, public agency has no right to privacy for account numbers. Next thing, we went around several times, and this started back in December, on a copy of all the bills presented for payment or paid in the December board meeting. I finally got those things about January 19th or so. 565 pages. 435 of those pages had improper redactions. By improper redactions, I mean account numbers not available. Can't read them. How am I supposed to know from one page to the next if that's the same account number that's used, so I can verify that all the pages are sequential and are not mixed up from month to month? Additionally, it was a claim made that none of these were electronic. Therefore, we had to print them all up toner, wear out the copy machine, stick in the box, pay money to the post office. I mean, I appreciate you support the post office, but there was no need to support the post office when you could have just scanned them when at least 435 to 565 pages were already in your computer. Because those redactions, to me, appear to be electronic redactions. Nobody can draw with a black marker that dark with that straight line and those square corners and not be electronic, meaning already in the computer. So somebody scanned this and the other 434 pages into a computer, electronically redacted them, and then printed them again for the sole purpose of mailing to me. Originally it was to make me pay for the documents, but for the sole purpose of mailing them to me, putting more costs, more wear and tear on the public's equipment, toner, use of paper, cutting down more trees for no reason, and paying for postage. It's ridiculous. You could just email those 435 pages.
10 seconds.
I went too fast. I won't cover the comical
Time's up, sir.
response that your attorney gave to the AG, but I'll send you a copy of it. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Woods, or
Yes, okay, I'm here. Let me say, first of all, I know how it means to be a board member. About 40 years ago, I lived down by Pagoda, and I run for Pagoda University School Board. And I got every vote, all 14 of them. And I had two neighbors, one of the first meetings I went to, there's both neighbor women wanting to be cooked. We're just going to hire one cook. And one of them was kind of poor, and one of them was kind of rich. So I thought, well, I'll vote for the poor one, help somebody out. Well, it just happened, the ones that were pretty wealthy was also my mechanic. And he wouldn't work on my vehicles anymore. So I know if you don't make somebody mad, you're not doing your job. It just works out that way. They even asked me to run again. I said, are you kidding? I'm here to present a petition to y'all. I didn't want to just appear by myself and look like old Gibbs got some kind of crazy idea going. I'll just read it to you quick. I left you a copy. You may not have it. The Jasper County Unit #1 Board, we the undersigned, in honor of the legacy of Bob Horst, propose that the football field at Newton Community High School be renamed to Horst Field in honor of his success. The tenure of Bob Horst as head football coach of Newton Community High School is without parallel in school history. As coach at NCHS, Bob Horst's win-loss record was 148 wins and 83 losses. His teams won 5 conference championships and competed in the playoffs on 11 occasions, including an appearance in the IHSA State Championship 3A game in 2005. As a tribute to his career, we propose the renaming of the football field at Newton Community High School as Horst Field. Shazeski is long gone and has no family living in Jasper County. Coach Horst's win record is better than Shazeski's record, and Coach Horst's teams played larger schools. When Coach Horst came to Newton, our football program was faltering. To skip over a lot of accolades, Coach Horst's team loaded the stands at home and away, and it's been that way ever since. Coach Horst raised his family in Newton, and he is still living here and enjoying his retirement. When I asked Coach Horst for his permission to pursue a name change, his quote was, "I'm certainly not asking for that to happen, but if it did, I would be honored." I never asked anybody to sign this. It's not a big, long petition, but I never asked anybody to sign it that wouldn't sign it. And I got some names on here I think you'll recognize, especially Coach Fulton. He was really excited about it. He thought that was going to be really neat. So I'll leave this with you and get out of your hair. And Why don't y'all, where do I leave it with? The boss?
I've got the other copy you brought, so I'll put it there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gib.
If you don't like it, throw it in the wastebasket.
So now Mr. Allen or Susan Lindley, who would like to go next, please?
You can.
All right, Mr. Allen?
Chairman, could you tell me what would qualify as unusual circumstance for extended time?
Actually, we'll take your questions you may have, write them down, we can get back to it.
So you won't give me any extra time? Okay, I consider this an unusual circumstance. I'm going to address the letter that the attorney sent. And I appreciate you using the term disingenuous. That was really great. It fits into what I'm going to cover tonight. These are quotes from the letter. I don't know if you folks have had a chance to read it. Quote, the district's resources and taxpayer dollars are being drained because of this group's actions. Your attorney gets paid by the hour, and if the concern is draining resources and taxpayer dollars, listen to what you're going to pay for that has nothing to do with my request for review. Quote, the Oscars, for example, limit comments after awards to 45 seconds, and candidates running for public office are often asked to respond in 1 minute or less at public debates. Clearly, if those time limits are considered reasonable, then a 2-minute limit for public comment must also be reasonable. No, not clearly, as your attorney claimed. In fact, the news reported most don't comply with that 45 seconds and points to it being unreasonable. And what did the Oscars time limit have to do with any of my requests for review at the OMA? Nothing. It's called billable hours. Quote, Mr. Allen used his 2 minutes to discuss a board member calling the police when she felt threatened by him. That's a lie. I specifically read and even provided an AG opinion dealing with the school board restricting another member's access. Why would your attorney mislead the pack? It's billable hours. Quote, his comments were personal, had nothing to do with actions by the board, and were meant to merely harass and belittle the board members. Before I read the next paragraph, if what I said came across as belittling or harassing, I apologize, because that wasn't the message I was delivering. That was another lie. The majority of my comments were reading from an AG opinion. My comment about your board member was nothing more than to make sure the public record reflected a false 911 call was made.
Time has expired, sir.
Do you want to extend it for an unusual circumstance?
No.
I've got quite a bit more. Let the record show I didn't get to even cover the letter your own attorney sent.
I'd like to add something, John. In September of 2016, you let people speak for 7 minutes on a 2-minute time limit, repeatedly. So I'd like that entered in the record.
Sure. Susan?
Okay, the only thing that I can say from tonight's meeting so far, your concern was because things weren't sent to you in, Mr. Kraft, things weren't sent to you in an email, and they were sent to you in copy form. Well, with what's going on around here right now, trust me, I would have said everything to you or anybody else in hard copy to know for sure that you was giving that, received what you had asked for.
I believe you're supposed to talk to the board, not me.
Well, I'm here, I'm a big girl, I can talk however I want to. What I'm stating is that I would definitely send everything in hard copy, because we all know that emails, sometimes people say they didn't get them, they got them, they don't know if they got them, whatever. But I would guarantee you and bet my bottom dollar, you guys better send everything in hard copy form. And you better have documentation to back it up that it was sent to whoever requested it.
Thank you. All right, anyone else for 2 minutes?
I have something I'd like to add, if I can add it during public comment. And following up what Kurt said, and I don't talk to Kurt, but it's ironic that I had this pulled up for something else. But in 2016, from January to March, and you're talking about billing hours, we paid Hodge Louise in January $61.25. That's $61.25. We paid Hodge Louise in February $386.90. We paid Hodge Louisi in March, $625.40. April, $159. May, $1,861.36. June, $434.84. And then in July, when Mr. Johnson came, we spent $901, $1,060, $1,007, November $265, December $737.76. Hodge Louisi was hired in June of 2015. These are bills in March, but you step over to Robin Schwartz, who was not our attorney, and to my knowledge never has been our attorney, other than once to help Marilyn Holt with a levy. February, $245. August, $2,415.50. September, $62.50. October, $1,339.85. November, $8,350.24. December, $6,239.74. for a total of $18,652.83. This is a law firm that isn't even our law firm that we're paying this kind of money
I'm
to.
not seeing this is relevant to the public comment.
Would you please let me finish?
No, I won't.
You aren't conducting this meeting.
Neither are you, that's the point. Okay,
I
Jack?
believe your ethics with the ARDC says that you will represent everybody on this board.
No, it does not say that. It says I represent the board as an entity, not you individually.
Okay.
So your point, all I'm asking respectfully is that if you could wrap up your point. You
Yeah,
said you had
I'll finish
like,
my point.
okay, can you wrap
But
it
I
up?
can't
in a
do
timely
it while
manner?
you're interrupting me.
Okay, well, you have about 2 minutes, like the public commenters, because this isn't on the agenda, so can you please
Time has
wrap it up?
expired, Jed. Do you have a wrap up?
Yeah, what's your summary?
Okay.
Chairman,
Let's-
is this public
let's-
comment or not?
He
Let's
discussed
go
it during
to,
public comment.
Let's go to 2017, and we want to talk about ethics. Hodge Louisi billed this district $89,182.18.
Do you want to talk about why we're needing an attorney so much?
It sounds, no,
Yeah, I would.
guys,
I would.
it sounds like,
I mean,
That Mr.
they
Ernest
build in.
Board Member Ernest, you can make a request to add an agenda
Are
item.
you
You
the
know
chairman?
the policy.
Jed, do you want to make an agenda item for the next meeting?
Would you like to make an agenda item for the next meeting? to
Is it
discuss
gonna be
legal
on
bills?
there, or is it gonna be like the last one you said is gonna be on there?
You mean like
You-
all,
You
okay,
forgot it.
so we'll just
So
move
which
on.
is it gonna be?
Mr. Ernest is making a
What do you
request
want to be,
that we
Jed?
discuss legal bills and why legal
Let's-
bills are
let's
so
dis-
high
Let's discuss.
at the next
legal
board
bills.
meeting, so we'll
Why
discuss
they're
it.
so
At the
high.
next board meeting, we will talk about why this district's legal bills are higher than they used to be. We'll have that discussion.
We will have that.
Very
At the
good.
next board meeting.
I think I requested the breakdown in your bills, didn't I?
I don't get all your emails. So at this point, public comment's over. We have a business meeting to finish. We actually have agenda items.
Now, who made you boss to turn off the
Sir,
public comment?
sir, public comment is over.
You're not the chairman, you're
Sir,
not the speak.
Sir,
Please.
And you
This
can't
is your
tell a
last
police
business
officer doing it, it's the chairman. He needs to gavel and tell everybody to be quiet so they can run the meeting.
all right,
Mr. Chairman.
just a minute, please.
Yes.
Mr. Kraft, that's your first warning. Gentleman in the back, that's your first warning. Another outbreak, this officer will take you out of the building.
Thank you.
Thank you. Janet, or
Next is approval of regular closed minutes.
all right, and then on this one, Jed, you had asked for some discussion on check number 82.
No, that's next.
That's fine, I'm sorry.
That's still a couple
I'm
like,
sorry.
this is,
Motion to approve regular and closed session minutes.
I'll second.
Mandy,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Ollie, Melissa,
Yes.
Rob, Jed,
Yes.
Mandy.
Okay.
the next one's the addition that I had, and in talking to Tony, since he is here, and we appreciate that, discussion regarding the procedure for approving and posting of committee meeting minutes. It has been addressed to me by a board member in order to, I guess, again, to try to alleviate some confusion, in my opinion, I've asked Tony if he would elaborate on how building committee meetings and how committee meetings minutes work and how regular meetings work. So would you at this time?
Yeah, there seems to be some confusion, and again, answering your question, Board Member Ernest. First of all, there's 3 building committee meetings that you addressed, and you're wondering why the minutes haven't been approved and posted within the Open Meeting Act's timeline, right? The September minutes have now been posted, right?
Correct.
I think there was a delay in those, but those have now been posted on the website.
When did we approve?
On December 7th.
No.
Oh,
Yes, December 7th,
Yes.
building committee
Okay,
meeting
but-
approved.
So let me clear
A
up the rule.
building committee cannot take board action.
Okay.
Not board
So I'm
action.
gonna speak
approve
to the
the
board
minutes.
and let you know how the law works.
Okay.
I guess if people
Obviously,
have
you
different
don't.
opinions, then they can go seek their own legal counsel. A board committee, right, is subject to the Open Meetings Act. Part of the Open Meetings Act is those committees have to keep their minutes. There seems to be confusion about who approves those minutes. Mr. Ernest seems to think the minutes come back to the board to approve. That's not true. It's the body that's meeting that approves the minutes. And the deadline is either 30 days or by the second meeting of that body, whichever is later, the minutes have to be approved. There's been 3 meetings that have been called into question. One of them has been approved at December 7th. It's been posted. The other 2 meetings, I think they're on the next meeting, March 1st, you're going to have them approved, but they're well within the timeline. So there is no issue, they're being approved. I understand you have a difference of opinion?
I certainly did.
Okay, well then you're entitled to that opinion, that's not what the law is, though, and so, I just want to clarify for that, that's it for that item. There was no action required.
All right, letter 6, item number 6, approval of all financial reports, including the balance sheet, bills, and payroll. We will need a motion, but Jed, you had asked for discussion on check number 82869.
No, I did not. I did not ask.
What'd you ask for?
I asked for an explanation that John said was going to be on the January meeting of the line item and the administrative capitalization account.
Okay.
And in reference,
You asked for a
it was
particular
in, it was
purpose.
in reference to a discussion that we had in January, I believe it was, or December, about a check number, is what I was referencing in the check number. But John, you can watch the video, John clearly stated in January that he was going to give us an explanation of what a line item was.
I said I would give an explanation. I believe that we would add that, and my bad that we did not add that. We have been quite busy with some other issues. So if that's something we need to add to our next meeting, then we'll do that.
Or if I can answer the question for you now,
Yeah.
if I have it, what's the question?
I just stated it, I sent you an email with it.
You'd like to know what the cost, the check number 82869, right? To Lusted Cabinets.
No, that was discussed at the December meeting. And when I questioned it, I was cut off. I was cut off by Melissa Stanley, to be exact. And in it, John said, we will discuss the line item. I just asked for an explanation.
And I believe this is the line item, this is the admin cap fund that we need to discuss.
Okay,
Correct?
yeah.
And what is it?
Give the definition of an admin cap fund.
Can we discuss this?
Can you,
We can discuss it, but this isn't the time. If you have questions about what the admin cap definition is, our public board meeting when we're conducting this isn't the time to do it. You have plenty of time to call and ask for that kind of information. I can't rattle off the definition right off the top of my head of the admin cap fund.
You
But
had
if you want
advance
that,
notice.
I can get, I didn't know what you were gonna bring up tonight.
It's in the email.
Okay. That's
my
fine.
understanding of the email
Mr. Ernest,
was,
you send a lot of emails at a lot of weird times tonight. I don't have time to read them all, and I can't,
I work
and
late at night.
I can't bill your district for all these emails without authority, so I try to be.
You mean you can't include
So-
that in the $89,182?
So, it doesn't look like you want to talk about this item any further, so I guess we move on to the
That's
next
fine.
item.
I mean, I'm not going to give an explanation on it.
well, Tom, tonight, that's what you're asking for.
Okay,
I didn't understand it that way.
Tell me very simply, is admin cap title?
No. Title funds?
Yes.
I don't think we have any title funds in there. I can get clarification for you on that.
Because I think it is. And if it's capital funds, or title fund, it's federal funds, isn't it?
So
Isn't that correct?
Title's federal funds.
Entitled federal?
Have to look into it, Chad.
So
Sorry.
what we'll do this time, you know, work on this for the next meeting and we'll cover this.
It has nothing to do with the chat,
Okay.
other than
That's the way I took
referencing,
it. I apologize.
other
I
than
misunderstood it.
referencing the comment that John made.
And I apologize
At the time
because
in the
when he and
video.
I talked about this, I thought it was giving information on this number, so my apologies. Let's move on. I need a motion to approve the bills.
I'll make it.
Second.
Gordon,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Holly. Yes. Melissa. Yes. Rob, Jed,
No.
Mandy.
Yes.
Okay, item number 7, approval of the Jasper County Junior High 8th grade graduation, May 15, 2018, at 7:00 p.m. Motion, please.
I'll make it. Second it.
John,
Yes.
Holly. Yes. Melissa.
Yes.
Rob, Jed,
Yes.
Mandy.
Yes.
Gordon.
Yes.
The next one I'll take is acceptance of donations. We'll take this all in one motion. I'll read off some of them. I just want to paraphrase because it'll come out more vivid in our notes and in the paper. Mr. Kyle Clare of People's State Bank in Newton has long been a supporter and helped with JCCU1 Science Fair. Mrs. Hall has reached out to him for the possibility of helping covering some of the costs this year. That science fair. People's State Bank has generously agreed to donate $122.46 for the cost of this year's trophy. Also want to be stated that Mrs. Hall also attended a workshop this past summer in which allowed JCJH to receive 215 copies of the game plan student book, workbook, to be used during their health classes teaching the abstinence curriculum. Secondly, we have a $2,500 donation from the America's Farmers Grow Communities to the athletic department. We appreciate the Denise Geyer awarding us this donation through the Monsanto Fund. I think we've had multiple donations like this over the years. It's nice of her to apply for that and got it and pass that over to us. So we appreciate that. Shoemaker Orthodontics, $650 this year. We're going to send that to the Newton Elementary to utilize some things at Newton Elementary. Last year it went to the 1-to-1 at the high school. Next will be please accept 4 used servers that were donated to the district from the Illini Cloud organization. And then the last one is please accept this generous donation of $305 from Scott Avenue Christian Church. This will go to the junior high FCA club and the high school, correct? High school and junior high will both benefit from this. $305. They ran a 3-on-3 tournament that some of you maybe were involved in or were around. Travis, I'm sure you were, so no, maybe not. Okay.
Playing days are over.
Gotcha. So if we have a motion to accept those, approval of that, we appreciate it.
Second.
Holly.
Yes.
Melissa.
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
Yes.
Mandy,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Next is approval of volunteers. We'll take them separately. A is I request your consideration of approving Cody Beam as an NCHS volunteer girls softball coach. Thank you for your consideration on this volunteer coaching position. Need a motion.
Sorry, second.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
Yes.
Mandy,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Holly. Yes.
Second one, the following NCHS students will be helping Coach Kelsey Cox with junior high scholastic ball practices and matches when they're available for the 2018 season. Farron Bartons and Isaac Ludington. Thank you to them and to you as a board for hopefully approving this. We need a motion.
I'll make it. I'll second it.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
Yes.
Mandy,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Holly.
Yes.
Melissa.
Yes. And thank you, Isaac and Aaron.
Okay, the last one I have is a request for consideration of approving the following individuals as volunteers for the bass fishing team this year. Doug Line, Bob Reisner. Reisner? Got it. Sean Dosey. Dosey. I knew I'd botch it. Norman Short, Dusty Lindeman. Thank you for your consideration on these volunteers. We need a motion.
I'll make it.
I'll second it.
Jed,
Yes.
Mandy,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Administrators, would you be offended if I just utilize what we've already done with the positive user communication? It's on the pile, it's on there, and it will be in the paper. Thank you for gathering that for me, and thank you for all the good that's going on in this district. Keep it up. Next will be FOIA request. As you can see, there are 3. I will also say they're not completely completed. We're still in the process. We're very close. We thought we would be there on a couple of them today, and they are not. So as soon as they are, we'll get those to those people. So I apologize for that. But that will be on our website as soon as we get them completed. New business. First item, A, approval to add FOIA officer responsibilities to Diane Shackman's duties. Before you vote on this, and I need a motion on it, I will like to tell you that I do not think that this will solve all of what I need, because she is gone a lot, she's not around a whole lot, and we are still utilizing her for the financial side. So we're going to try to do the best we can with it. I will say, my ladies lately have put some things down so that we can cater to the FOIA requests and get caught up. Unfortunately, other things have suffered a little bit from it. We apologize for that, but we're doing the best we can. So at this time, I would ask for a motion to at least give it a try to see if Diane can help with this process.
I'll make it.
Second.
Mandy?
Yes.
Gordon?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Holly?
Yes.
Alyssa?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Jed?
Yes.
The next one was the one that changed to 12B earlier, and at this time we'll have a first reading of the policy regarding board member usage of JCCU1 email account. And the addition that we would be looking to put in the policy, which is the press policy that we subscribe to, is this addition. Board members shall use their district-issued electronic mail account when engaging in district business via email, provided that such email communications about district business shall not occur among a majority or more of a board quorum. When emailing board members, the administration shall direct all such emails to the board members' district-issued electronic mail account. And I can tell you that I do that already. The second part to that, and I'm not going to change that, regardless of where emails come from, if they've got accounts, I am providing them back to them to the best of my ability. I'm not going to say that I haven't made a mistake or two, Jed, and send it to your personal one, but for the most part, I think I've sent them to the district account. I've tried to do that. That's the first reading. We don't really have any action. We'll have the second reading at the next board meeting, and it could be adopted at that board meeting, correct?
I don't know if one of the members at public comment stated that you can't require a board member to use the district email. And we talked about this at the last board meeting. I think just to repeat myself though, you know, the majority of the board can set board policy and ask each other to follow that board policy. But, you know, as we probably already know in this district, if one of you chooses not to do it, although we could ask you to do it, we could admonish you for not doing it. At the end of the day, there's nothing other than those things that we can do. So it's true, we can't force someone, we can't wrestle someone to the computer to use their email account. But a majority of the board can set a policy and procedure, and hopefully, you know, unless there's a really good reason not to, the board members would follow it. It's different for your employees, right? Your employees, if they violate board policy, actually they can be, you know, discipline imposed for that. But as elected officials, as we've all learned over the last year, there's only so much you can do, right? So just wanted to address that comment because it came up tonight.
Can I ask a question? Does this pertain to all board members and all email? Is everyone going to get theirs the same?
What do you mean?
Does it apply to all board members?
That's the way it's written, is that if you're discussing district.
How many board members get their packet by email?
By email?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think they get it by email.
Currently one, correct?
Yeah.
You.
Right.
Nobody else gets it by email?
Correct.
Correct.
How does everybody else get it?
This policy, this provision is about, there are other forms of delivery. In your policy, if you read the policy, it talks about text messaging, it talks about all other kinds of electronic communications. This revision is specific to which email address you should use. There are other forms that you can use to communicate, but when using email about district business, the board is considering a policy that says that you should use your district email. And as we discussed last month, it's primarily motivated by FOIA.
So what's the difference between me using my personal email and using this one then? You know, since all board members aren't getting their packet the same way, why do I have to get mine through my district email?
I'm not going to discuss this topic because it's actually the subject of the lawsuit, so we're not going to engage in that here. So we'll move on.
Okay, see?
I agree with you. Discussion approval to advertise for performance contracting and construction management company for the purpose of further research into new construction and existing upgrades to current buildings. We tabled this at the January 18th meeting. I have provided all board members with information in regards to performance contracting and ADG, which is an architectural design firm out of Mount Clemens. What I would like to say is at this point right now, I don't know if you had a chance to look these over, but kind of a tentative idea or plan as I shared with you. March 1st, we are going to have a building committee meeting, and I'm trying to get architects, some performance contracting people there, construction management people there, about 4 or 5 different people if we could, to come in and kind of give us a presentation on what they do and how they go about their business and what the benefits of each, and obviously they're kind of competing against each other, so you're probably going to get to hear a little bit about what they think of the other ones. And then after that meeting, that information would be obviously provided. We've got a little group that meets more internally than anything to discuss this a little bit and then come to the board with some information at the March board meeting. I would really like to see us lock somebody in as far as either an architect, performance contracting company, a CM, or whatever we need to do moving forward. Because at one time, we had Hurst Roche, correct, as an architect out of Hillsborough. Correct. First of all, I struggled a little bit because of the distance, that if we need some things, we have older buildings, we need to be able to call on these people, and hopefully they don't cost us much, if anything, to be able to make some decisions that, you know, we got a boiler situation right now that we're trying to put a serious Band-Aid on that we found out it's going to cost us an awful lot of money to fix. Well, we hate to put a whole lot of money into some of those kind of things, if indeed we're going to go to phase 2, which was discussed 8 years ago, and put on the back burner. If we're going to go to phase 2 at some point and put in HVAC and things of that nature, it doesn't make a lot of sense to go and put a lot of money into an old boiler. So we need some people outside of us that deal with these kind of things on a daily basis, and that's what they do for a living, to give us some guidance on where to go next. So that's the plan with what we're looking at here. There's no action on these tonight either. It's purely discussion. I would like to have something in place at the next board meeting. I can tell you, I've been talking to our attorney firm in regards to RFPs and RFQs, what direction we'll have to make sure that we've got all that stuff in place before we would obviously take action on those items. So I'll be getting more research from them within the week, next week, and be able to make sure that we follow those guidelines to secure someone of that nature. Questions? Okay, next will be D, approval of surplus items to be recycled or donated. We got technology items on there and the gym mats. I really want to hit on the technology side of it a little bit. Aaron and I have spoken extensively. What we've got is some desktop models that are probably, I don't know, let's say 8 years old. I don't know exactly how old they are. But as you can see, we're all going to mobile devices. We're really phasing that kind of device out. What we are doing, and I don't have the exact number here in front of me, our initial attempt is going to be to contact some local businesses, or maybe like the assisted living places, nursing homes, to see if they need something, and we would donate those to them. Just kind of, again, we don't need anything for it. And if that doesn't work, then we'll try to take a different avenue to get revenue. One of our biggest problems in this district right now, and I'm sure it is most districts, as this technology comes along and upgrades, and we upgrade, we keep all the old. And we just put it in a pile, and it just consumes storage. And we need to do a good job of getting rid of that. So this is an attempt to start getting rid of some of those. Okay? So if you could, I need a motion on that one.
Make it. Okay.
Gordon,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
Yes.
Mandy.
Yes.
Next one would be approval of a mowing service agreement with Griffin's Lawn Care to extend the current contract 1 year. Same mowing price as last year, and an additional per gallon cost for chemical spray as needed. So the bid basically came back, or not the bid, but he'll charge us the same as he charged last year. The only thing he's asking more for is a $6, I think, per gallon if he uses spray. And I think we're trying to encourage him to not use much of his and we'll use most of ours, right? So there's very minimal would be involved in that. So if we could approve that tonight, again, I think we were content with the service last year.
Did a very good job.
They did a good job and we appreciate it.
Any incidents we had, they were well taken care of, so.
Right.
What's the cost of that?
16,000.
Where'd that come from?
But what come from?
The 16,000.
Where did it come from?
Yeah,
The bid from last year.
his bid's 17,000.
His bid's 16,000.
It's right here.
Huh?
It's right here.
Well,
It's
I don't
17,000.
have his bid in front of me.
I do,
Okay.
and I think it needs to be discussed,
Let's talk about it.
okay? First off, 105 ILCS 5/10-20.21. All competitive bids for contracts involving an expenditure in excess of $25,000 or a lower amount is required by board policy must be sealed by the bidder and must be opened by a member or employee of the school board at a public bid opening at which the contents of the bid must be announced. Each bidder must receive at least 3 days' notice of the time and place of the bid opening. For the purpose of this section, due advertisement includes, but is not limited to, at least one public notice at least 10 days before the bid date in a newspaper published in the district, or if no newspaper is published in the district, in a newspaper of general circulation in the area of the district. State master contracts and certified education purchases contracts as defined in Article 28A of this code are not subject to the requirements of this paragraph. And then further down, it is the legislative intent of Public Act 96841 to maintain the integrity of the sealed bidding process provided for in this section to further limit any possibility of bid rigging, to reduce administrative costs to school districts, and to affect efficiencies in communication with bidders. First off, I'd like to go on record that I never received a bid. That was when you weren't sending me my packets.
So you wanted to bid the mowing? You wanted to bid for it?
Why don't you listen?
I did.
I just
Why don't you
said,
listen to me?
let me finish.
Go ahead.
Okay. That's a $17,000 bid. We have a bid
Heard that once.
in here from St. John's Mowing Service that states $350 each mowing. If you take that times the 26 that was mowed, it comes to $9,100. So we did not take the lowest bid, did we?
Is that for one school or is that for?
Wait, I'm confused. I don't think, how much is the total contract for?
Total contract we have is $16,000. He said
Okay.
17.
And.
And it's option one.
No, hold on, I'm just clarifying, I just wanna make sure I
Well, I'm
understand.
gonna clarify
No,
for you.
what's your board policy on bidding? Have you guys set it lower than $25,000?
No.
But we bid it.
No,
There's
there's
a
a
policy
difference- there's a
because
difference.
we
Quotes,
bid
not
it.
for
Okay,
quotes.
there's a
This is not for
difference
quotes.
for asking for quotes and asking for actual competitive bids pursuant to that statute. Unless you guys have set your policy, and I haven't looked at this recently, because Steve, I think, works with you on this. Unless you set it lower than $25,000, then you're allowed to ask for quotes. If it's $25,000 or more, then yes, that statute that board member Ernst just read is in play, and you do have to comply with it. A quote, getting a quote and getting an actual sealed bid are two totally different procedures. Sounds like what you guys did was ask for quotes. We didn't go out for competitive bidding. Sounds like you have a board member that would prefer that you guys bid the project, even though you're under the threshold for the dollar amount, that you would bid it. But that's up to you guys whether or not you want to do that. You certainly can. But
So you're saying that it's quite all right that we paid $8,000 more?
that's not for me to decide. Your question, what you're alleging is that they didn't follow the bidding statute. What I'm telling you is they're not legally required to. Whether or not, or ought you spend, how much you spend on it, that's not for me to opine on. That's for the board to discuss. I'm not a elected official here to talk about how much you guys should spend. I'm just telling you that you don't have to comply with the statute if you don't want to, because you're not required. So that's up to you guys.
Is that one school or is that all of the schools that
It's
they
option
do?
one, total quote for all properties, Newton Community High School, Jasper County Junior High, Newton Elementary, St. Marie Elementary, Willow Hill School and Unit Office.
And it's 9,000 something?
$9,100 for what was mowed last year.
And where is that company out of?
They're out of Toledo.
That's Toledo.
Where's that quote?
It's right here.
Where does it say 9,000 something?
It's 350.
That's not what I asked you. Where's the 9,000 part?
It's on my computer.
Well, then you came up with the 9,000. Was that 9,000 on one of those bids we had last year? I didn't see the 9,000. I saw the 350 per mowing, but we didn't ask for a per mowing bid on that, correct? We asked for the lump sum.
It says
Not bid,
each,
quote, sorry.
each mowing,
That's a
each mowing, that's a column.
So would they mow every week or every bi-weekly?
That
or-
is set by the district.
Right here, it says total quote for all properties,
Yeah, it's $350.
but your
Each
each mowing
mowing.
is that section.
But we didn't know the number of mowings last year.
You're gonna set it, it says that on the quote sheet. That the schedule, mowing season of 2017, season is to be determined by school officials. I mean, you know, you're bidding it in March. If you bid through the end of the year, it'd only be about 11,000 or 10,500, something like that. It's not very hard to figure out, Andy. Now, is it?
But
What's
this
that?
was last year.
Is it not very hard to
Depends
figure
on
out?
what you're trying to figure out.
It's hard to know how many times in the season they're gonna mow. You can't go by somebody saying.
You can set it.
Are
I
there
mean, it says you
some
can
that
set
mow
it.
twice?
You know,
Yes.
season is to be determined by school officials.
A lot,
Season is
probably.
In the spring, we have them mow, we'll have them come in and mow two times. You know, depending on what's going on, we have graduation, things like that, we'll come back and mow again, touch things up, so. They could mow once, they could mow twice, they could possibly, in a 7-day period, not quite get through, but.
Mhm.
So you're telling me then that with what Griffith mowed, which was 26 times per the letter, that this comes out to $9,100, that we left basically $6,800, $6,900 on the table, correct? Is that what you're telling me, Chris?
I understand what you're saying.
Did Griffith mow more than one time a week?
He did some weeks, yes.
He mowed 26 times. We got that in our board pack.
You mowed it 26 times. If we want to, again, this is the board's decision, okay? All I can do is make recommendations. We made a recommendation based on the information given to us last year that we thought was in the best interest of the district. Would you agree?
Yes.
And we are comfortable with what took place last year. However, if we want to go try to save, and somebody wants to try to mow these properties for $350 per mowing, okay? You mowed grass? Answer, yes or no? You mowed grass?
Have I mowed grass?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
charge anybody?
Huh?
You charge anybody?
Yeah.
You know what it would take on our properties?
Addison St. John's is here tonight.
Oh, I know who
This is his
is.
bid.
Absolutely.
Will you bid it for, would you have mowed it for $350 each time? There's the answer to your question.
Then the board has an opportunity
Exactly, it's up to the
to
board.
do whatever they want to do differently, if that's exactly how you want to do it. Where does your business reside?
Toledo. in
Toledo.
Garfield County.
Where does Gary Griffith's businesses reside?
Right here.
Where?
In Jasper
Jasper
County.
County. Okay.
Okay, let me ask you this.
And that
Let me
may
ask
not
you
matter.
this, Andy.
I'm just asking.
Where's Lustig's cabinets? Where's Todd?
Effingham.
Where's Todd Weissar cabinets?
I have no idea.
Cabinet maker.
They're in the district.
I don't know.
I don't know.
The-
Todd who?
Todd Weissar,
Todd?
TK cabinets.
Okay.
So this need tabled? for
It's up to you guys.
discussion?
No, I think you should approve it. I'm ready to make a motion.
Someone make
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
That we change? No, that we accept the bid for this one here. Can we talk about it in closed session and?
No, you can't discuss it.
No.
Just food for thought, and again, it's irrelevant, I'm sure, but I'll say it. When I took the job, I came over to several meetings in March and April, and you talked about mowing for 2 or 3 months. Last year, this time, we talked about mowing for 2 or 3 months. Now we're gonna talk about mowing again for 2 or 3 months if we put something off. And again, I'm not.
And the year
against it.
before, we bought a mower.
Absolutely, and we still use it. So, I don't know what's important to this board in making decisions and what we're geared to. Last time I checked, this mowing situation doesn't affect the kid. There's really, other than the Illinois State Scholars presentation at the beginning, we haven't talked much about kids. And that hurts me a little bit, okay? Because I do believe. That's, I know it's comical that we work for kids, but we do, okay? So as far as this is concerned, you guys make a decision. And again, if we want to save $9,000, the gentleman in the back says he can do it for $9,000. Chris, we'll support $9,000, wouldn't we? We like saving money. Not so sure we're 100% comfortable with him doing it or somebody else doing it. We know what we had last year and we were comfortable with that gentleman.
Point of order, Chairman, you have a motion on the table.
Need a second?
Second.
Just a motion, a second, any further discussion?
You said Gordon second? Okay, sorry. Okay. All right, John,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
No.
Mandy,
Yes.
Gordon.
Yes.
Next is approval to hire. First A, we moved a day-to-day sub to full-time sub A for the remainder of the 2017-18 school year. Caitlin Stanchu, make sure I get all these right, Kathy. Caitlin Stanchu, this is for Gail Glumac's position, because as you'll hear, is that down lower? Gail's moving to another position. Okay, so we need a motion on that to approve that.
I'll make it.
Second?
Holly, Melissa.
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
Yes.
Mandy.
Yes.
Gordon.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Item B, under 13, Joyce Hartrick for Newton Elementary long-term substitute aide to help out in the 5th grade math classroom. And we have a little situation in 2nd grade that also, for the remainder of the year, that person will help out there too. So we need a motion for that as well.
I'll make it. Second.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
Yes.
Mandy.
Yes.
Gordon.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Holly.
Yes.
C is to employ Craig Carr, Athletic Director, Guidance Counselor, and History Teacher, starting with the 2018-2019 school year. I would also like to state that I would also like to pay this person a per diem to work some days prior to the start of the 18-19 school year. We'll discuss this with the candidate and the high school administration and bring a proposal back in March or April, if that's okay, Beth, if indeed that's something that you would support.
I'll make it.
I'll third it.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
Yes.
Mandy.
Yes.
Gordon.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Holly.
Yes.
Melissa.
Yes. And yay.
The next few will probably make a little more sense to the things that I just talked about prior to that hire. The next item is approval of resignations. Jackie Holsapple, Title Aide. She is writing to submit her resignation from JCCU1 effective February 2nd, 2018. You can see her letter of resignation for more information. Again, that's why I ask each month for permission to carry on to the next month in case we have situations like this pop up, which obviously you get the final say. So we need a motion to approve what we've already done, if that's all right with you.
Make it.
Jed,
Yes.
Mandy,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rob.
Yes.
Next item is approval for transfer, which goes back to the Gail Glumac situation we talked about earlier. Gail Glumac to Title Aid for primary cross-cat aid. We're subbing Gail's position for the person that you just gave us permission to do for the remainder of the school year as stated above. So I need a motion to approve Gail Glumac
I'll make it.
to this position.
Second it.
Mandy,
Yes.
Gordon,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed.
Yes.
Next one will be approval of retirement. Pamela Blank, teacher's aide, and her letter of retirement we received on 2/6/18. We wish her well, but need a motion to accept her letter of retirement.
I'll make it.
Second.
Gordon,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
Yes.
Mandy.
Yes.
It's effective at the end of the year, too. Right. Next one will be authority to hire staff if needed for the upcoming month.
I make it.
John,
Yes.
Holly,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
No.
Mandy,
Yes.
Gordon.
Yes.
Okay, at this time, we need a motion to enter the closed session.
I'll make it.
Holly,
Yes.
Melissa,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Jed,
For
Yes.
what purpose?
Mandy,
Yes.
To enter executive session.
John.
Closed session.
With the reasons.
For the purpose to 5 ILCS 120-2C1 to consider information regarding appointment, employment, or dismissal of individual employees. And discuss minutes of meetings lawfully closed under the open meeting.
And B will be the only action item coming out unless something else were to take place.
We're not going to discuss any litigation of any kind.
Correct.